for me, it was really moving out of that struggle survival, that victimhood, into that flow of freedom. It's this golden space where when we sleep, we then bypass that rational mind. I feel sleep is the number one medicine, and dreams really help bring us back to ourselves. And we've really forgotten that. If you're not remembering your dreams, you're sick.
In this episode, we explore the hidden messages in our dreams, how to begin trusting our intuition, and what it really means to listen to ourselves on a deeper level. I had so much fun talking about my own dreams with my guest, Lynda Samphire, who is a highly intuitive transformational coach who guides people in exploring their gifts, creativity, and inner knowing. Lynda invites us to slow down, tune in, and reconnect with the wisdom that already lives within us. Her work is deeply rooted in both personal experience and years of study in psychology, metaphysical science, and a range of healing and embodiment practices. I hope you love this conversation as much as I did. Welcome to Good is What Makes You Feel Well, Mama Terra's podcast. Each week, we will explore topics that impact our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health through inspiring transformation stories. Here, you will find practical guidance and actionable strategies to apply in your daily life. I'm your host, Ana Rezende, author, health coach, and speaker. I'm here to help you protect your energy, strengthen your well-being, and thrive through life's transitions. If you are a student, a parent, a teacher, or someone who cares about well-being, go to Amazon and check my book, Living Your Best Life in College. Now, let's dive in and discover what really makes you feel well.
Abraço uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala a montanha, contempla a vista, transcende, levita.
Hi, Lynda.
Hi.
Welcome to Good is What Makes You Feel Well.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here and have a conversation with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for us to start our conversation, I would like to ask you, what in this moment of your life makes you feel well?
That's a beautiful question. Yeah. Connecting within myself, nurturing myself, and tending to myself each day. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow, that's awesome. And how those things look like for you? How do you tend for yourself, nurture yourself, and connect with yourself?
Well, for me, my connection to nature is really strong. So just getting outside, even if it's for a moment with the sun, and walking and movement, whether it's yoga, making sure we take deep breaths throughout the day, and not over promising myself, which sometimes I can do. So I think that's really important. And sleeping, making sure I get the right amount of sleep, good sleep. And that's really an area of my work I focus on too.
Yeah, so I'm hearing that nature nourishes your soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's
slowing down,
awesome.
right? Just taking those moments to slow down.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that is a big moment in this current era that we are,
Mm-hmm.
that people are so rushed all the time.
Yeah,
So it is so good to slow down and take things easy, right?
it is. And giving ourselves permission to do that and restoring our rhythm. Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
going back to that simplicity that I think we've kind of disconnected from.
I agree.
Yeah.
So tell me how this whole concept of wellness and feeling well has evolved throughout your life.
Yeah. Well, I'll start back at the beginning. At age 2, I lost my mother. She
Mm,
passed when I was 2 years old. And it really put my system into this space of inner grief. Because you're 2, you're not aware of what grief is or what that even means, what her passing means. And so internalized it. The body's still going to, the nervous system's going to grip. And so I was in this space of constant functioning anxiety, functioning
mm,
depression, and not even really knowing it, thinking it was just this normal part of life, but the overachieving, the
mm,
proving, the needing to earn love and receive validation. And I remember going through this year where I kept getting a cold or sick like over and over and over again. And it was hitting areas in my body that just weren't feeling right at a really young age. So I knew there was more to this. And I really started going inwards and doing some deep inner work and learning to nurture myself, not overpromise, like I had mentioned in the beginning, and what it meant to remember who I was
mhm,
and love who I was, no matter what, and feel safe in my body. So that's been my journey.
mhm.
Yeah.
And what was the turning point for you?
Hmm. When I was 25, I actually attempted suicide.
Oh,
And from there, things started to move upwards, though I'm not going to say it was really quick. It took time, but it was an eye opener for me. And there was depression in there, and it was the grief, the unresolved grief that was ruminating and keeping me in these old stories. Um, and feeling not lovable, that unworthiness to that core. So that's where things really turned for me. And I entered into college later and began studying psychology and the human
mm,
behavior, which has been a fascination for me. Um, and then moving into the mystical part of that and the energetic part that plays. So yeah, that's been my journey into
that's,
into this work.
mhm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Who was or who were your biggest teachers in this journey?
My biggest teachers were my experiences. They really were. I was in this space where I felt shame around everything. So I didn't want to
Mhm,
reach out to anybody. So I read books, I listened to talks, I did not work with anybody. Isn't that interesting? Though had I and just allowed myself to um surrender, it probably
mhm,
would have moved faster. Recently, about 5 years ago, I completely stopped my practice and decided that there was still something that wasn't clicking. And I ended up working with a beautiful woman, Casey Garrett,
mhm.
and another medicine woman who held this most beautiful space for me and guided me into the remembering of who I am and really saw me for me. And then I began to see me for me. So,
Yeah, we
mhm,
never stop learning. We
no,
never.
no. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of certifications because there was always that proving a lot of learning. I'm like, I'll probably be 95 and still in a class learning.
Yeah, that is awesome though. The
Hmm.
overachieving part of it, it's not because we don't have to prove anything, but the eager to learn and improve, I think it's part of life, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
and I think for me it was really moving out of that struggle survival, that victimhood, into that flow of freedom. And I think we're taught earlier in life to really embrace these experiences rather than chasing what we want, then that kind of shifts everything for us. We can see the teachers in them. And I have to say too, my dream world, big teachers in my sleep and dream world. So
Mm.
came through.
Have you done anything specifically on dream interpretation or any work in that area?
Yeah, I work with all my clients. I run a dream series.
Oh, you
I
do?
do, and I match it with seasons. So like my fall one comes up, and we're looking at harvesting our dreams and
Oh,
everything we've planted in the summer. So we start learning to work with our dreams in a space where we're not excavating them, trying to figure them out rather than learning to feel them. And it's this golden space where when we sleep, we then bypass that rational mind. So
mm-hmm.
we're learning the language of our soul, which is symbolic. It comes in symbolism. And then those symbols begin showing up during our day. And we begin connecting to ourselves in a more intimate, personal way and understanding our intuition, how it works, and our nervous system begins to relax. So I feel sleep is the number one medicine, and dreams really help bring us back to ourselves. And we've really forgotten that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my gosh. I'm such a believer on that. And I do remember my dreams a lot. I mean, I know everybody dreams, right? And we dream all the time. But I'm one of those people that I remember a lot. Every morning, I just take a moment after I wake up to kind of process the what
Yeah.
I was dreaming because it is it's a lot going on every night in that
There,
land.
there's so much. And, we used to, thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, we used to use that as guidance. That was our guidance. We were connected. And then through time, industrial era, electricity, technology, we don't linger in the mornings, and we really should be a bit of a lingerer. And I love how you said you let it kind of process, because we want the symbols to run through our body and we want to feel it. And a symbol might be in the daytime, our shoulder hurts. So are we learning to linger in the shoulder? Are we going to sleep at night asking for more clarity around that? Are we paying attention to where our cells are vibrating, where we're vibrating on an energetic level, which is coming through in that nighttime? But we're so go 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 do that we're missing that. And I really feel it's creating to our wellness, our sickness. It's a disconnect. In fact, I studied with an African shaman last summer, and in the Kosa tribe, if you're not remembering your dreams, you're sick and you're taken in by the elders, and they hold space, and they work with you till your dreams come back, and then they let you go and they watch you to make sure the dreams continue, because if you're sick, your whole tribe is. So it's a communal type wellness healing to be in our dream state and to really work in that space.
If you are enjoying this episode but don't yet understand the multidimensionality of health, I created a free ebook to help you. It's a simple yet insightful few-page book you can read in less than 10 minutes. The ebook link is in the show notes. Now, back to the episode.
Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? That if you were sick, everybody else in your community is sick, because that's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
The planet is sick. People are sicker and sicker. every year, just the number of diseases just skyrocket every year. And we are sick together. And that is what's
Mm,
happening.
yeah, beautifully said. And so true. It's like we're most of us are living out of rhythm, out of our own rhythm, out of the communal rhythm. And
Out of the seasons rhythm and the day and night cycles
definitely,
and everything else.
yeah, because you can feel the liminal space we're in right now between summer and fall, and we might be feeling a little more tired right now. We might be feeling, well, we are hitting eclipse season, so that's something, but the shifting of temperatures in our body, where we're gearing up for almost that hibernation, but yet we're still over here, do. However, we are in a society right now that is go, 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 is chaotic, and does not condone
Value.
and reward nurturing the self.
Yeah.
And so, how do we do that? Right. I teach people that just dream tracking alone, just waking up in the morning, having that journal by your bed and writing down the symbols, a tree, a house, a blue ball. Just that alone
Mm.
begins increasing our cognitive function during the day, begins reconnecting us to our soul and the unfolding. So it can be super, super simple. And the fun part is when we dream of a blue ball and then a blue ball appears in our waking state and we kind of really start paying attention. So,
Mm. I was
yeah.
going to ask you that just because not every day, but sometimes I do write down my dreams because they seem to be so crazy and that, but I do dream about people and I don't remember seeing symbols. Well, the two past nights I dreamed about a motor just because I worked so long in the manufacturing industry around those big, huge electric motors for machines, you know. So I don't know. I just dreamed about two big motors last night and the night before.
The soul speaks to us very, very confusing ways. I always like to kind of begin with you are everything in your dream. So if you are that big motor, what's it representing? What would the message be to yourself if you are
Mm,
that big motor, right? How did it feel? What was the feeling of the big motor as it runs through your body? In a dream circle, we would all be sitting there and we would take your symbol and we would run it through our bodies and we would share what came through us, what that meant to us. And it starts because, again, the communal part of it. Um, and it sparks, oh, I didn't think that that does resonate. And then other people are learning themselves through your symbols. Does that make sense?
mhm.
Yeah.
That is
So
so interesting because now that you mentioned that, what came to mind was the symbology of the motor, because the motor is what makes the machine move.
and is it need
Is
tending to, or is it
isn't
doing really well?
isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That so
And
it takes in the energy and makes something move.
yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
So you are the motor. What energy are you taking in, or what energy do you need to give yourself to keep that huge motor, that huge, beautiful motor that you are keeping it running? Is there an area in your life that is requiring, is it nutrition? Is it being outside? Is it energy? Is it connecting back to your rhythm and the remembering? And it's
Yeah.
funny as we speak of this, I have chills running through me. So it's very aligning for you.
Oh my gosh. What I'm feeling now, the big download that I'm having is that I have to make the movement, to take the step. And that is what I have been asking. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is so amazing because it's been a while that I have been asking the universe some questions, and I keep telling the universe that I'm open to receive the answers. and that I want to be really able to
Mm.
perceive the answers, right? And so, and then those those dreams, oh my gosh, now that you said that, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
Well, and yeah, so and that's the part that we forget. We're all waiting for the day message to come through. But in the meantime, our neuroadrenaline chemical is up. We're busy, we're doing things, there's chaotic, we're here. But then when we go to sleep, spirit, soul is like, oh, I can talk to her now. However, the soul speaks in symbols.
Mm-hmm.
And so we begin learning over time how our soul speaks to us. And so I might have a symbol that shows up over time and I know what that means. I know that if I'm in water for me
Mm.
shows up a lot. That there's some emotions that are moving through and I might want to look at. So I like people to, have their own dream dictionary. So for you, engine, and what does that, what's fueling it? What do I need to add? Do I need to connect more during the day to something? Or it's giving you the instructions of what to do during the day. The hard part is we go to like a dream dictionary or now AI and we're getting a big universal meaning, which
Mm.
is good and can be validating. I just like people to do it afterwards because it's personal to you. And
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes so quick after a while, right? We've worked with the default mode network where our brain is like, oh, we're just going to go to that automatically, integrates it pretty quick. So
Mm. What do you think are the main symbols? You mentioned the water. Water means that flow that might be
is it
emotions or
stormy? Is it calm? Or the sea's calm?
mm,
Ice is another one, like snow and ice, those frozen emotions. Is it snow or things getting ready to come out?
mm,
Houses are really big in dreams.
mm,
And houses represent building structures, houses represent us. So,
mm,
are we in the kitchen creating? Is the kitchen messy or is it clean? Do we need to clean up our body in the second energy center where creativity is? Is there creativity that's wanting to
mm,
flow? And then all of a sudden you're in the basement and it's flooding, so you're not grounded. So we're reflecting back. Are the walls, what color are the walls? Is the house in shambles? Is the house new? Are we entering into a new beginning for ourselves, or
mm,
are we releasing, or is there some stuff that needs to be cleaned out? So those buildings are our vessels, and we can learn a lot from bathrooms or release. A lot of
mm,
people have bathroom dreams where the toilet's not flushing. And so
mm.
what's ready to release that we're not letting go of?
Things are escalating,
And
right?
there's
Just
water there, so there's emotions, right? So we're going to come
mm,
back to the emotions. And sometimes the house is on fire, it's burning. And so there's,
time
if
to
we
renewal.
yes, like if we look in nature, what happens when fire comes in? It renews and re-nurtures the soil. So is that how are we working on ourselves? And that's what's happening? Is it a
Mm,
mirror at them?
mm-hmm,
Or is it a message? And that's so personal. And that's why we sit with it for a bit. We can incubate it if we need more clarity. I'm not understanding why I was in the kitchen. And so we take that to the dream at night. We don't expect the answer.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We just know it's going to come. I think there was one woman who had these, I was reading a book and she had dolphins in her dream. And it
Mm.
took 12 years incubating it for it to come forward, which is long. Is I've had a week before where it's taken like 7 days, but yeah.
So there is this particular dream. For years, I have been dreaming it over and over again. And it
Mhm.
changes the details, but it's my wedding day again. And I'm missing a shoe, or I don't have the undergarment, or I forgot to schedule the makeup. My hair is not done. Every time is something that is not quite ready for the day. And it's so interesting.
Weddings are big because, and we look at that as the bond between masculine and feminine energy, our yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
So if I asked you like, well, what foot are you missing the shoe off of?
Both.
Both. So we could look at the part of what do shoes do for us? Protection, our feet, help us forward movement. So we might look at that possibly. And I would run it through myself and say, oh, there's some things missing, and I'm out of balance, and there's a union that needs to take place between masculine and feminine. Where am I leaning too far to one side?
Mm-hmm.
And we could look at feminine as makeup,
Mm.
putting on our mask, putting on our face. So maybe there's some feminine nurturing that needs to come in, right? Because I mean, what does it feel like when someone does our makeup for or something, or services us in a way that they're working on our hair and we're just able to sit? That's a very feminine receptivity place to be in. So do we need to receive more a little bit
Mm.
nurture? So that union of the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, can come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that fabulous?
Mm.
I'm gonna show you my tattoo.
Oh, oh, I love it.
Isn't that incredible
It
that you
is.
mentioned this?
Yeah, it's giving
And
me
I have
chills.
been dreaming this dream for a
Yes.
long, long time.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm getting ready to possibly get a tattoo myself, and my logo is two hummingbirds coming together in the yin and yang as their beaks are together. So yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I love
amazing.
that. That's beautiful. Yeah, you're getting all kinds of signs. And so once those repetitive dreams that we have are really the soul kind of screaming at us, similar to
Mm,
nightmares. Like, listen, listen, listen. You really need to make sure that you are always balanced and taking those times. And then you're going to operate at your fullest. You're going to be completely connected to you, and life's going to continue to unfold. So because it's repetitive, it's important.
yeah.
All dreams are important, but that one, the soul's really trying to get that symbol through sleep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously, with your tattoo.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
That is so amazing. It's, yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you mentioned that you do work with your clients with that. So tell me about your work, because I know you do different things. It's not
I
only
do.
dream work, right?
Yeah. So my work as a whole is really helping people restore their natural rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
reconnecting with the wisdom in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And that means in their dreams, that inner intelligence. And I really like to stress to my clients that we're not broken,
Mm-hmm.
this is a remembering. So my practice really stems around connection to the inner self, connection to our soul, and restoring the rhythm in our body through dreams. And I also work with plant allies as well, as
Mm-hmm.
a ally like we would with yoga in a microdosing type format. And so I incorporate all of those in, and it's really phenomenal because the dream work always comes to the forefront. It's all like that's medicine. Dreams are medicine. We can microdose medicines, which help open that up again in a very soft, non-dysregulating way. So
Mm-hmm.
if we're not sleeping, that means we're not getting a lot of REM. If we're not remembering our dreams, we're missing another number one medicine, sleep. And so I might work with Amanita muscaria that works with the central nervous system, the GABA receptors, to take our foot off the glutamate pedal, the on switch to the brain, so that we're sleeping more. And then our dreams begin returning, and then we can work there. We might microdose psilocybin in order to start knocking on the doors energetically and at a cellular level what's ready to move through us. So we could look at Amanita as the restorer, the tilling of the field, and the psilocybin is aerating it. And then our dreams begin to return, and then we can really do some work. So
Mhm.
I also feel I like my clients when we start bringing in movement, intention. I can't say enough about that. Just the intention alone. Um, it's really an interesting way to hold space because it's empowering the client because then they're getting the answers. And so all of them kind of weave in together. And so shifting people from those survival patterns more in those soul-led ways of living, soul creating, co-creating, and just remembering who we are, that everything is here and not here. And we're in a world right now where we're striving to get where? Where are we striving to get to? And that is ruminating and circling in these old stories and the conditioning. So, yeah.
Yeah. I was having a conversation last week for the podcast, and it was such a beautiful conversation. I was asking her when she thinks the disconnection started. Because if we go back to 500, 600 years ago, we had our native people here in America, right? All over the continent, from the north to the south. They were just living in communion with nature as one. They were the stewards of the land, right? So before that, I don't know. I have this idea that the disconnect started when the Europeans arrived in America, at least for us here on this continent. Because you said some places still have those tribes. They are alive. They are just trying to keep their traditions and all, right?
Mm.
So, what do you think was the big disconnect that we had?
One, how you just explained it, yes, beautifully. The stories of the ancestors have been lost. I feel also the industrial era coming in, the working from 8 to 5, electricity. We stopped beating to the rhythm of the seasons of the sun and the moon, the solar lunar loop, right? We weren't living that. We used to have 2 sleeps. We used to go to sleep when it would get dark, and we'd wake up between 1 and 3.
Hmm.
And we'd get up and we would either stoke the fire, we might go next door and share a dream,
Mm.
we might pray, and then we would go back into our second sleep. So I don't think when we wake up at 1 and 3 in the morning is that odd of a thing. But however, we're taking pharmaceuticals now in order to sleep through that part. So it's a very natural state. So we've lost our natural state of rhythm. Our circadian rhythm is off, like just how we beat. And then we had travel come in where we could travel in different time zones, and then technology. So I think over time, it's just built up the disconnection to the elders of the forest, the elders of the tribes is coming up huge right now. This
Mm.
calling for a reconnection. And I feel it, and it appears in my dreams. And we are being asked to really heal on an ancestral deep level right now because of what you just explained and because it's lost. And it's like we're walking around like these big conditioned robots instead of living from the trueness of who we are. And that was taught from the elders. I have a retreat coming up that I hold space for, and it's on 50 acres of indigenous land. And we start the first
Mm.
night with fire ceremony and connecting back to the ancestors of the land and to
Mm.
nature,
Beautiful.
and bringing forward what we've forgotten. So, yeah.
That
I mean,
is so,
electricity, one of my favorite inventions. However,
but you mentioned that, and yeah, once you have your source of light independent from the sun, then everything changed.
yeah,
Electricity.
we're flying just for work. We're flying from back and forth, east to west, and that's throwing it off. And then we're over melatonin ourselves. We're taking pharmaceuticals. We're losing sleep. And I'll keep repeating it because I think sleep is our number one medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the NREM period in our sleep where it cleans out the beta amyloid protein linked to Alzheimer's. So if that's not getting cleaned out and it's building up, could we say there's a correlation? Possibly. Yeah. So as we progress, which we always will, this isn't going to change. I mean, we're going to keep evolving, we're going to keep progressing, but how do we bring in the remembering of who we were and who we are and still function in this chaos without over depleting, over promising, and forgetting who we are? And I feel that's really where the dreams come in to remind us. And I also feel the plants showing up right now, the elders of the forest are bringing us back to that remembering, not as an escape, but as a remembering and a connection.
Yeah.
While we go to the grocery store, why we get our kids off to school, why we do all these things, get to work, drive in traffic. So,
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
mm-hmm.
What we created for us.
I know, it's so cool. It's like, wait. And we see
Why
it
did we
showing
do
up.
that?
I know. I kind of got it's a head shaker, and lately it's an eye roller. So, right.
Yeah.
And I think that remembering on that cellular level that because we're really disempowered, right? We're searching out here when everything's here.
We're giving out our power to the
Yes.
doctors, to the pharmaceuticals, to other people
To
all the
fix.
time, to fix.
Yeah, we don't need fixing. We just need remembering. And
Yeah.
so that's really what I teach. I'm a guide in that sense. And I myself discovered the importance of a container that is safe, where someone sees you, for who you are. And yeah, it's a beautiful process. It's a beautiful journey. And it actually doesn't take that much. If we were just to put an intention at night, I'm a firm believer we need sleep hygiene and we shall be taking showers before night. Watch that day off, rinse it off. Don't take it to bed. An intention, what am I ready to receive? And then be unattached to what shows up and not excavate it. And just keep that solar lunar loop moving. And if a nightmare should appear, that's the soul screaming, and that's a gift. And it's like, okay, I get it. Please don't scream. Please don't yell.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that you mentioned that at least this for me is a relief is as I dream a lot. So that means I'm healthy, right?
Yes. Right? The Kosa tribe, the elders would be very proud. You're dreaming, you're remembering your dreams. Yes, that's very important. And not that if we have a night where we don't remember it, that means, oh, I didn't sleep well. I have those nights all the time. And it might be, well, I know I dreamt. And if I did know what it was, it'd be this. Or thank you for the dreams. And a lot of times it will start sparking in the daytime through our, we might see something like, oh, I dreamt about that last night. That's interesting. So, but the exhaustion, the over exhaustion is killing us. Yeah. And that's the part. And then alcohol suppresses the sleep stages. Too much melatonin, like I mentioned earlier. So,
yeah. So it's a beautiful work. It's a beautiful work what you do. Tell me more about your retreat. You said it's an indigenous land and you start with fire. So where is it?
It's in the Pacific Northwest here in Washington State.
Is that where you live?
I do. Yeah, I'm in the Seattle area. And so it's up
Okay.
north and it,
I've lived there for 3 years.
oh, you did.
Yes, in
Oh,
Ferndale,
oh, yes.
by the
Up close
border.
by there, Cedar Woolley area is where we do the retreat.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's
And
amazing.
my colleague, she does sound bowls, so there's sound bathing, and yeah, we do work with some medicines, and yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful weekend for remembering who we are. We bring in
Mhm.
some flower essences,
Mm.
and we have a chef that prepares
Mm.
very nurturing, well meals, and yeah,
Mm.
and then
Ah,
land.
oh my gosh, it looks so yummy. So you said about holding space, and I think those safe spaces that we create with those kinds of works are so important because I know we have to remember, but after we remember, there is a lot of things we have to integrate, right?
Yes, that's so, yeah, I love that you're saying that because a lot of people, I don't hear that. It's fascinating to me that, we're striving for enlightenment, we're striving for flow of freedom and out of struggle and survival. However, when it happens, it can be a bit dysregulating because our inner self, our nervous systems have been gripping for protection for so long that to release that can be destabilizing. Then can, nope, I'm not doing this, I'm going back here. So here's old you, here's new you, which is always going to be a new you because we're infinite, but we're here. And we might feel like, well, who am I now? Because our identity is wrapped up in the stories and what we've been telling ourselves, even though we don't want it anymore. And so to have that container to one, guide us through the somatic and the cathartic releases that are coming through, but also just to let you know that you're safe, this is normal, this is okay, let's move through this. And for me that was everything, and I held that back for a while because of shame and unworthiness, but it can be really dysregulating to move too fast with it, um, because
Without integrating it properly, right?
no, like it's like when you go, let's say you have like 20 restaurants you want to try. You don't want to go to all of them on the same day, or you're going to feel super, super comfortable. So you kind of spread it out, right? It's like that. And so we want to integrate. We want to allow the food to metabolize. We want to allow it come up to metabolize through our bodies and then move to the next. And that's the unfolding. That's the evolving where the carpet is here and we're watching it, not just rolling it all out and going, okay, because that's going to, the nervous system's going to grip. My nervous system for the longest time, and that functioning anxiety was always gripping. I needed those containers with compassion and safeness to be able to, yes, integrate that throughout our bodies. And these medicines do the same thing. We should not be rushing into them as a fixing. They're allies, just as we go into yoga, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't go do some big yoga move on day one. We work into it. So, yeah, I feel it catapults our healing.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
as you mentioned yoga, did you use that as one of the tools to regulate your nervous system?
I really navigated and was drawn to yin yoga
Mm-hmm.
during my healing. I do different yogas, but the yin yoga, where you're holding those poses of uncomfortability, what do we want to do? We want to get out of them, but to breathe through it really taught me to breathe through these emotions that were coming up. I had this moment, gosh, it was probably about 4 years ago. And I had really hit doing this healing, this depths of darkness, I guess. And I was just like crying, and it was, all this release, cathartic was coming out. And I looked up at the trees. I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, and it hit me like, well, even death can't get you out of this. And it's like the mind just went, what that make, oh, I can't get out of this. And I heard this, I'm like, well, what do I do? And I heard this voice say, just feel it. just let it move through your body. So I did, and there was a tingling. I wasn't like the next day everything was great, but from that moment on, it was, and I thought, well, that's what I do in yin yoga, is I sit in those. And so I could bring those together as a practice, and this space of gentleness for myself.
Mm.
So whenever I'm feeling, well, I do yoga all the time, but when I'm really feeling kind of dysregulated, which is going to happen,
Of course.
I will do yin yoga, even if it's just 20 minutes, and it will recalibrate. A walk and some yin yoga will just put me right back. And so movement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's lovely. Oh my gosh, that's lovely. And do you have any special bedtime routine to put you
Yes.
on that mode? Yeah, tell me that.
Yeah, most definitely. One, take a shower if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're going to just breathe into, like, just even holding your hands on your belly and your heart and really setting an intention. And if it's sleep, thank you for the beautiful sleep. If it's, I am a master at remembering my dreams, or what are you wanting to tell me? What am I ready to receive? What messages, anything that feels good. I like people to just start, thank you for the dreams. Thank you for the dreams. And then people listening to this, just talking about dreams, will dream tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And just those breaths taking in a moment, and then having that journal. A lot of times I like to write my intention down because I might forget my intention. And then the dream, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like, what was that? And then you can look back and the intention going, oh, makes
Oh,
sense. So a
yes.
special pen, a special journal just for your nighttime.
Okay.
And interesting enough, so Keith Richards, the Rolling Stones,
Okay.
he used to record himself sleeping every night. He said most of the time it's super boring. I snored. But one night he recorded the first verse of Song Satisfaction.
Wow.
The Beatles almost called the song Yesterday last
Uh-huh.
night because it came through in a dream.
Oh my goodness.
So there is so much happening when we sleep. So much of our wisdom, our intuition, our magic, our power is right there. And we just have to surrender into it. So I like having those sweet little rituals at night. Maybe you do build a dream altar and you take your business card and you put it right there in your altar because you want your practice through your business to
To
evolve.
flourish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, flourish. And then so little things like that. Don't make it too much or you're not going to follow it. Make it easy. It can just be breaths, heart, hand, and a journal. That could be good. And then in the morning, any symbol that comes through, just write it real quick. Also, if you wake up in the middle of the night, if you have a little lighted pen, you can write it down real fast, because you'll say, I'll remember this, but 9 out of 10 times you won't. So,
Awesome.
and that just gets you into the practice of it, right? Like meditation, we might start with 5-10 minutes. It's the same thing with the dreams. Make it simple, or it's not going to be sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for light or darkness, physical space?
Well, technology, the lighted pen's really good. No, I think that darkness is really good for us to sleep in. I think we need that darkness. I think if we're on our phones and it's right here in our face, that's going to be a problem. So I know that we're very addicted to having the scrolling and the phone and the answering and needing to do this right this second because things are moving too fast. To create a practice where that's not the practice, I think is really important because technology is interfering with our sleep state and that's making us sick. So as a nurturing, it would be good to probably let that go.
Mm-hmm.
And then can we not grab it the first thing in the morning? Can we grab that journal first and then do that? And believe me, I can be guilty of it myself. and I notice a difference. So it's about back to like your first question, what do you do for yourself? That's nurturing. I nurture, I make sure I'm nurturing. And if it's not nurturing, I'm going to move it out. I'm not going to deplete it. I'm not going to take it away. Believe me, you, I've got a retreat coming up that I'm going to, and they're taking our phones, and I'm already stressing over that. So I know that that is a part of life, and we're not just get rid of it. But if there's little tiny shifts we can make that can contribute to those moments where we're healing and sleeping, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just love that. Is there anything else that you would like to mention that we didn't spoke about?
Well, I think that just your body, your dreams, it's and the rhythms of nature carry medicine. You know, it's just not about the microdosing the medicine or the mushrooms. It's about your body and your dreams and the nature. That's medicine too. And they're allies, they're teachers. So see them as teachers. What are we moving through in this path of remembering? Right. So I think just in these times of just like this quick change, we need to remember who we truly are. And that's where this real change begins, and it starts here. I think on my path, I'm very intuitive. I do channel and I speak light language. That came through as a frequency, which is strange, but fun. And that happened when I sneezed 3 times in my kitchen one day. It just came out and I was speaking it.
Wow.
And it's a frequency I use for myself, for one, for just rebalancing my body, but also just listening to it. Like, so on my website, there's a free meditation you can request, and it's just light language, and it's a frequency that comes in. So you're speaking of your dreams of the wedding, right? So it's the union of masculine and feminine, and rebalancing and regrounding. So even just 5 minutes of listening to some type of frequency can help. And I know that, again, when I just speak at myself, everything shifts in my body. Yeah. So doing this work, working with yourself, the nurturing, the gifts will then begin to arise. You're not looking for them, they just come. Yeah. And it's really that intuitive connection back to divine wisdom that then flows into the body and moves through you. So yeah.
I love that. Love, love, love. So, Lynda, whoever is listening to us, if they like you as much as I do, how they can find you, to work with you, to know about your retreats, your meditations, and everything else.
I have a website. It's LW Samphire. So it's SAMPHIRE.com. And all my information's there. As well, this podcast will be too. So, yeah.
Excellent. That's super easy then. Just your website. So I'll have it in the show notes so people can find you.
And I'm
easily.
on Instagram as well. And yes, it's LW Samphire, but you can find the icons on my website and click on there and I'll take you right to there.
Yeah. So the website is kind of a hub for everything. All the retreats are there and everything else.
The retreats are under Spirit of Life retreats, and there's a button right there that'll take you over to that. Takes you to all my programs, one-on-one, my dream series that I run, and everything's on there. I have some intuitive reflections that I write, so those are on there. I have a ebook for Amanita Muscaria that'll be free for download.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation. It was really, really good.
It's been a joy just speaking with you and hearing the epiphanies with your dreams. Yeah. Keep working with that. Seems to be a gift of your own.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and want to know more about me and my work, sign up for my newsletter. Every week, I craft good wellness information, recipes and book recommendations with love and care just for you. It's rich and free. Find the sign up link in the show notes. See you in the next episode, and remember, good is what makes you feel well.